The Kansas City Chiefs cannot win Super Bowl 59. History. Yes, that is what history says. No team in the lifespan of the NFL has won 3 Super Bowls in a row. Prior to Kansas City, there had been 8 instances of repeat champions. Of those 8, none of them even made a third big game. So is this a curse?
Wide right.
Yeah, kind of. There's some weird stuff happening. The Miami Dolphins made and lost a Super Bowl, and then went on to win back-to-back. The Patriots won in 16, lost in 17, won in 18. The Packers actually won the NFL championship the last year it wasn't called the Super Bowl, then went on to win the first 2 Super Bowls. In essence, they did three-peat, but technically not 3 Super Bowls. The closest a team has come to winning a third after already repeating was probably the 49ers, who lost on a last-second field goal in the NFC Championship game to the New York Giants. So what has cursed these teams? Well, 3 things prevent repeats turning into three-peats. Number 1, the head coach or the quarterback leaves.
I'm not going to be here.
Number 2, you run into a better head coach-quarterback combo.
Our coaching did a horrible job. The players did a horrible job. We got our ass kicked in that second half. It sucked. It stunk.
Number 3, injuries.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
All 8 teams that have failed to three-peat fall into one of these categories. After the Packers won back-to-back, their head coach Vince Lombardi stepped down. The Packers went on to miss the playoffs. Both the Dolphins and the Steelers, after repeating in the early 70s, ran into the Raiders coached by John Madden and quarterbacked by Ken Stabler. Then, after repeating a second time in 78 and 79, in 1980 the Steelers just fell apart. They were old, they were injured, they were banged up. It was the end of the dynasty. After winning in 88 and 89, the 1990 49ers ran into the New York Giants, who knocked Joe Montana out of the game. This was the closest a team ever got. Then, after the Cowboys had repeated in 92 and 93, Jerry Jones famously ran Jimmy Johnson out of the organization. They went on to lose in the NFC Championship game. In 1999, after the Broncos had repeated, John Elway retired. This was one of the worst Super Bowl defenses of all time. They were brutal. And finally, after Belichick and Brady repeated in 03 and 04, the 05 Patriots were plagued by injuries. They still managed to make the playoffs, but this team never really had a chance. So that brings us to Kansas City. How do the Chiefs stack up? Well, Mahomes and Reed are still there. So that's number 1. Number 2, the only quarterback that people in the media tend to argue is better than Patrick Mahomes is Josh Allen.
Regardless of the outcome, I'm taking Josh Allen every single time.
Why are you taking Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes?
However, Mahomes has beaten Allen in all 3 of their playoff matchups, so this isn't really a credible argument to make anymore. The only quarterback that the players and the writers give as much love to as Patrick Mahomes is Lamar Jackson. But Lamar is not a good playoff quarterback, and Mahomes just beat him last year. The only coach who receives maybe as much admiration as Andy Reid, maybe more, is Kyle Shanahan. Andy Reid is 4-0 against Shanahan, including 2-0 in Super Bowls. So that really just leaves injuries, which can't be predicted.
No, God!
Or can they?
No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Kelsey has missed 3 games in 10 years. Mahomes has missed 2. Chris Jones has not even had a minor injury in the last 2 full seasons. Their 3 most important players are never hurt. This is only 3 of 53, but the reason this matters is because of the way the Chiefs are built and the way they have won. Of the 9 repeat champions, I would argue only 1 had the best quarterback in the league at the time. Elway was great, but he was at the end of his career. Brady was not even in the conversation until after the 3 Super Bowls, and probably not until the undefeated season with Randy Moss. Joe Montana and the Niners are that case. And they were the team that came the closest. You could argue the only reason they didn't at least make the Super Bowl was because Joe got injured. Now, the NFL has limited the quarterback hits, and we have seen Patrick get injured in fluke ways twice in the playoffs, and it hasn't stopped them. Of course, I'm not saying there's no way injuries derail the Chiefs, but I think it's fair to assume it's not likely. Just like there's teams that we can assume will get hurt, there's teams we can accurately predict won't. The curse of the three-peat is not a curse, so much as it is easily explainable. Barring a very large jump from a young quarterback, a Stroud, a Love, even a Brock Purdy, there's only one team that has a legitimate chance to prevent the Chiefs from doing what no one has done. And that is, of course, Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. No, I'm just kidding. It's the Bengals.
Absolutely all alone, and he trips.
It's not only because we have proof of concept, but they have borrowed from the future to still have that core together. They have very little dead cap, so they aren't wasting dollars. And after having the hardest schedule in the entire league last year, they have a much easier projected strength of schedule. With all of that said, the Chiefs will almost certainly win this year's Super Bowl. If they don't, then there is a curse. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe. I have a ton more videos ready to release with even more in the works. Thank you, and see you next time.